this stuff?
A brief heritage of Qlikview, what exactly, when did exactly it was found out. So it was founded in Sweden in 1993, okay, and it did $470 million of revenue last year, and they're targeting for 600 million this year, okay. It has offices in 60 countries, 33,000 customers right now in over 100 countries. 1,100 partners worldwide. So basically, partners is an organization who have signed up with Qlikview for a partnership which entitles them for free demos, support and services, free consultancy, and other host of benefits. Okay. The board members, they are Lars Bach, so current chairman and CEO. He's Lars Bach right now. William G. Sorensen, Les Bonney, these are all people who have come across from different backgrounds, but with good companies, good organizations, and formed Qlikview. Okay, so it's headquartered in Pennsylvania, and the R&D center where all the development of Qlikview happens, that is based out in Sweden itself. Okay. So now we move into what a Qlikview is all about. Okay, so basically, the one thing that makes Qlikview unique is its in-memory associative technology. Okay, so here are two phrases that we need to understand properly here: the in-memory concept and the associative concept here. Okay, so the in-memory technology here basically means that whenever we are working in Qlikview, wherever we are working or when we are creating dashboards or reports in Qlikview, we are always working with data. Okay, and that data is stored inside the RAM of your system where you are working, or wherever you are viewing the dashboards. All of the data that is there, or whatever data you have pulled into Qlikview, okay, by any data source, be it maybe any ERPs or databases or flat files, whatever may be the data source, doesn't matter. But all of the data is kept in the RAM of the machine or the system. Okay, so basically this leads us to believe that obviously Qlikview is a very resource intensive tool. Okay, it requires a lot of memory. Obviously, if you're going for an enterprise level of deployment for Qlikview, the data could be huge, and obviously that requires a lot of memory to be there for your systems. Okay, so in memory basically means that all of the data is kept in the RAM. Okay, the benefits of this in memory technology is that reading the data or writing the data into RAM is 100 times faster than writing the data into any storage devices like hard disks or your network storage. Okay, and obviously they are also dependent on your networks and other speeds. So that makes Qlikview very responsive. Okay, so whenever you work in Qlikview, whenever any user is viewing the dashboard, whatever analysis he is trying to make, it will be very, very fast. He'll see the results very quickly. Okay, because all the data is kept in the RAM. Okay, so that is what in memory means. Okay, any questions in there for in memory or anything?
So if you install this on a normal system, yeah, so is it something like Excel which uses local system memory? Yeah.
Correct. So if you're working on a local system, obviously the data would be stored in that particular system's RAM. If you move on to a server, the application is open on the server, or the dashboard is open on the server, so the server's RAM will be used.
So if it's a server client architecture, so you have deployed the server in a big system, yeah, with memory. But if you're accessing dashboards, so is it client-based or server-based, Abhinav?
It is server based. So what happens is that we'll talk about this, how the typical architecture of Qlikview is.
Okay.
We'll talk about in a while. But basically, the system in which the dashboard is opened,
Okay, when the report is
RAM of
running,
that
it says the
particular
local.
system is,
Okay. So
and
if
we'll
the
see
RAM is
how
less.
it works.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
we'll see how a typical architecture of Qlikview looks like. Usually there could be differences as regards to requirement of an organization, but a very simple typical architecture we'll go through in detail in a future
Okay.
slides. Okay.
So, okay, is it kind of a developer kind of tool, or is it kind of an end user tool? Like anybody can use it, or
No, it is for development. The
development?
new
Yeah.
tool,
Okay.
which is called ClickSense, if you have heard about it, that is an end user tool. But Qlikview,
Okay.
you need BI developers to develop your dashboards for you.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Please go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. So this is about in memory. Okay. Now let's understand what is associative. This is a little difficult concept to grasp. Okay. So we'll go it through slowly. So we see this particular figure where we are depicting a traditional BI versus a business discovery model. Okay. So basically, you are obviously familiar with the relational models or the entity relationship models, right?
Yeah. Actually, okay. Yeah.
So in that case, whenever we are querying the data model or querying a database where the data is stored in a relational format, what happens is when we want to search for an information, we have to follow a certain path. Okay, that certain path is analogous to a where clause in SQL query. Just to simplify things, a where clause in a SQL query will be analogous to a path that you follow in a relational model. Okay, so suppose I wanted to see the name of a salesperson, or vice versa, I wanted to see the product of a region for a particular salesperson. I will have to write the entire query that salesperson is equal to this, where product equal to this, where state equal to this, where region equal to this. Okay. In this case, let's say region is only one, but there are 3 states under it, and there are multiple products under each state. Okay. Now, it's obviously not a requirement, or if it's not obviously not necessary that each state will have different products. A product can be sold across different states as well. Okay. So if we want to know about a salesperson for a particular product in a particular state, okay, we'll have to write that query that select region, state, product, and salesperson, where salesperson equal to this, and product equal to this, and state equal to something, which will actually give us our required result. Okay, getting it? Any confusion so far? So basically we follow the highlighted path here from region to state to product to salesperson. If you follow this path here, okay, to reach to a salesperson we have to follow this particular path. Correct? This is how a traditional data model or a relational model functions. Okay, and that is most of all, that is the basis of most of the BI tools, or most of the OLAP cubes that we build in different BI tools. For example, the OLAP cube is built in Cognos, in Hyperion Sbases, and the cubes are very difficult to maintain, very difficult to change as well. Okay. Qlikview in contrast works very simply. What it does is it connects every data or every point of data to every other data. Okay. In a traditional BI, region is not connected to a salesperson directly. We have to follow a particular path. But in a business discovery model or a Qlikview model, which is an associative in nature, region is connected directly to salesperson. Okay. So what will happen is when I select a salesperson. Okay, so basically Qlikview is a click-driven tool. It has a click-driven functionality. You click to select something in Qlikview. Okay, and selecting in Qlikview is analogous to a where clause in SQL query. Okay, it doesn't mean that there is some SQL running behind the scenes. There is no SQL involved in Qlikview anywhere. What it does is, if you click or make a selection in Qlikview, it is analogous to adding a where clause in your SQL query to get the same result. Okay, so if I select a salesperson name, the region, the state, and the product he sells, those are automatically highlighted in Qlikview. So you don't have to write the query, the entire query, to get to the particular salesperson. If you wanted to know all the details, which product he sells, which states he operates in, you'll have to write a SQL query. Whereas in Qlikview, you just have to select a salesperson, his name, and all of the information will be highlighted for you. Okay, we'll see this when we go into hands-on, but for now, basically what happens is every data is associated to every other data. Okay, that's what associative model is all about. Okay, any questions? Okay, so as I told, it obviously makes an associative model and it stores the data in the RAM. Okay, so how does it store the data in the RAM? That is also an important concept here. So what it does is, it basically forms an associative database in the RAM and then stores the data in it. Now it's very difficult to visualize an associative database. Okay, it's very hard to construct an associative database physically, but what it does is its algorithm basically treats the data in the associative way. Okay, but all of the data which is stored in the RAM is modeled in an associative way. Okay. So the next point is single architecture for dashboard analysis and reporting. This is a very important point as well, because if we talk about any BI tool which are market leaders, or not even market leaders but are giant organizations like Oracle, for example, Microsoft, IBM, Cognos, SAP, all of these are major players in the market in the BI industry as well. Okay, so Oracle has its own product suite which is called OBIE, which is the its de facto reporting reporting tool or BI tool. Okay, so in that case also, for you to learn an OBI from end to end, you'll have to learn a suite of products. Okay, there is a repository designer in OBIE, there is an answers in OBIE, and there is a designer in OBIE, where you'll all do the modeling, and then you'll go to answers to write SQL queries, or it basically has a drag and drop feature, but basically the base of everything is SQL. Okay, in OBI. So you have different products to learn for an end-to-end implementation. Okay, if we take an example of MSBI, which is a Microsoft BI, it also has SSIS, which is the integration services, which acts for the which is responsible for all your ETLs. Okay, then you have SSRS, which is the reporting services. Then you have SSAS, analytical services. So all of these are different products in itself, and they together make the MSBI suite of products. So if you want to be an MSBI developer, you have to learn all these three products. Okay, if you talk about SAP Business Objects also, you have Universe Designer, you have the desktop intelligence or web intelligence. So that is again two suite of products that you are going to use for your reporting needs. Okay, whereas in Qlikview, it's only one product where you will do everything. You will do your ETLs in the same product, you will do your analysis in the same product, you will create your charts in the same product, you will create everything in your same product. You will do your data modeling in the same product. There is only one product which is called Qlikview Desktop, where you will be doing every kind of development that there is in Qlikview. There is no development involved on the server side. Okay, the server or the publisher, which is the Qlikview product suite, is not responsible for any kind of development. The development happens in Qlikview Desktop. Okay. Then flexibility and analysis. Now this point basically compares all the BI tools where you model your data in such a way for a report. So basically what happens if I take up an example of Hyperion OLAP cubes. Okay. Now a cube has an inherent you can say restrictions. Okay. So any idea, Umar, how or what a cube is basically, or how is it developed?
Yeah, cube, right? Normal cube, yeah?
Yeah, OLAP cubes.
Yeah, I have done the SSAs and BW as well, with dimensions and facts, star schemas, yeah.
So basically, we do create your star schemas, but basically everything is stored in a relational model within BO also. You see your universe designer, you have your measures and dimensions, but the dimension modeling that you do is basically star schema or snowflake schema, but behind the scenes it is all relational model, because the base of BO or business objects is SQL only. Behind the scenes SQL is running, and SQL understands only relational model, not dimensional model. Okay. So OLAP cube basically what it does is, when we create a model, okay, are you aware of the concept of facts and dimensions? Obviously, right? Measures are dimensions or facts are dimensions.
Yeah, that should be fine.
So basically what we do in creating a OLAP cube is we put the fact in the center of the cube and all the dimensions that we have for that product, fact on the corners of the cube. That is how a cube is modeled basically. Okay. Now the inherent restriction in a OLAP cube is that a cube only has 8 corners. So your dimensions are limited to 8. Okay, that is the inherent restriction in cube. And if you want to change a cube because of some reporting changes by your user, it is very difficult to remodel the cube. It's better, you're better off creating a new cube altogether for that particular report, while changing the same cube is very difficult. And cubes are inherently, because of the restriction, are unstable also. If you model it too complex, it may fail. Okay, or the way we call it is cube bursting. Okay, so whereas in Qlikview you have no limit of the number of dimensions that can be associated with a fact. Okay, so that makes your work easy to add or update your dimensions, or maybe removing the dimensions. The data modeling that you do is very, very easy to do, as long as obviously you understand your business logics that you want to implement. Okay, so that is very, very easy because there is no inherent restriction in Qlikview to any dimension or fact. Okay. The second thing about Qlikview is that I'm sure you're aware of aggregated tables in business objects, right? So when you want to display your summary data, you create your aggregated tables, correct?
Yes.
In
Yes.
Qlikview, yeah. In Qlikview, the aggregations can be done on the fly. So you don't need aggregated tables to be present. You may require sometimes when you have very specific needs for a summary data, or you may want the business logic to operate on a summary data, but normally in normal scenarios, the aggregations can be done on the fly in Qlikview. Okay, so that's what makes it very easy to model as well. Okay. Then fast to deploy. So basically, if Qlikview is so easy to develop and the dashboards is easy to develop with very easy data modeling techniques, obviously it's very, very fast to deploy. The entire infrastructure, in fact, is very easy to deploy as well. Okay. Easy to learn and easy to use. Obviously, we'll see about that. Okay, but basically, Qlikview is a color-coded point-and-click user interface. Okay. It has a color-coded and point-and-click user interface. We'll see what colors are important in Qlikview. Okay. When we move on to hands-on, we'll see what each of the colors mean in Qlikview. Okay. So basically, changes in Qlikview applications can be done in seconds. Okay, and that makes it very responsive and very flexible to the changing needs of the organization. Okay. Any questions so far?
No, Abhinav, you can continue now.
So this is something what and how of the in-memory associative technology. Okay. So basically, the associativity, what it's thought of is that how the user thinks or what the user thinks is what can be modeled in Qlikview. Okay. The what-if analysis obviously is very easy, and the the way the user thinks, or if the way the user wants to change the BI, the reports or something, the charts that you are going to build, it's very, very easy in Qlikview. Okay, it's very flexible, it's collaborative as well. There's a lot of features in Qlikview that make it collaborative. You can share, your reports with other users and collaborate on that, and discuss whatever reports you have and arrive at a business decision. Okay. The how is of obviously the in-memory, so it's obviously fast because of very high speed of the RAM. Okay. Light impact. This obviously pertains to when you don't have the data as a huge organization. So obviously, if you have a big organization, the data is going to be huge. Or if you're going for a very detailed data, the data is going to be huge. So the light impact still means, because if you have a good servers, if you have a good infrastructure, the response time is still very fast, even if the data is huge. Okay, obviously it requires a lot of resources, hardware resources, but in the end, it makes the analysis very fast. Okay. Summary and detailed data both can be shown. It's visually very interactive. A lot of different charts, very beautiful charts can be made. Then it's portable. Okay, that portable means basically that when we create a dashboard or an application in Qlikview, okay, we obviously have the data for Qlikview. Whatever we are going to analyze, that data is there. You build your data model. Okay, so that data model or the business logic that you've implemented is there. The Qlikview script through which you did it is there, and obviously your charts and all your reports are there. Okay, so it means that all of these things, the data model, business logic, the script, all the charts and reports are stored within one application. Okay, it means that whatever data you have pulled from any data source is stored inside the application. So you can take your application to any other system or any other machine or any other location and still open it and still see all the data. Okay. Any questions? Umar, Prasad, any questions?
No, Abhinav. Thank
you. Okay, so it's basically
portable. No, Abhinav, nothing from me.
Okay. So it's portable, so it's actually very easy for traveling executives to view the data at any time. Simple, inexpensive, and integrative. So inexpensive in terms of, if you talk about the other BI tools like OBI or MSBI, they require teams of people to operate. Okay, people who will maintain it as a system or as an infrastructure as a whole, and also people who will develop your reports on it. Okay, so they require team of people to operate. Okay, and if you compare the cost of Qlikview versus other other BI tools, you might not find much difference between the infrastructure, because obviously Qlikview requires a good infrastructure. Okay, but you will definitely find a huge difference in the manpowers. Okay, that is the costing that is cut off from Qlikview. A single Qlikview developer can view or can set up and maintain and configure the entire infrastructure and also develop all the reports and all the dashboards. Okay, so that is why it is inexpensive compared to other BI tools. It's integrative. That is a very good feature of Qlikview. Even if you have a BI infrastructure in your organization, Qlikview can sit on top of it and still give you better results, better insights into your own data. It doesn't mean that if you are implementing Qlikview, you have to let go of your old BI tool, or you have to support it through other BI tools. Okay, it can act on it as a standalone infrastructure or sit on top of any existing infrastructure and deliver the value. Okay. This is just a small slide to show what kind of reports or solutions can be built in Qlikview. Obviously, this is not exhaustive. This is just some important solutions that can be built. So, like for R&D, product portfolio analysis is one of the major KPIs or the solutions. Project management. And if you go into finance, consolidation reporting, profitability, everything. Operations, executive, sales, marketing. These are just functions where you can build your solutions by Qlikview. Okay. So now we come to probably the most important part of the slide. This is the typical architecture of Qlikview. Okay, this is how we typically that. Okay. So there are basically three layers or stages that you can say are defined in this particular infrastructure or architecture. The bottommost is your infrastructure resource, this one. Okay, this basically is your entire infrastructure or your entire data sources. It may be your ERPs like SAP or CRMs like Salesforce. It can be your any kind of databases. It can be your flat files, Excel files, your Access databases, anything. Any kind of data source can be there. It can also be based on a SAN or NAS storage. Okay. Now, basically, we've talked about a product called Qlikview Desktop. Okay, where all the development of Qlikview will happen. Okay, there are two different products, two separate products by Qlikview, which is called a Qlikview Server and a Qlikview Publisher. Okay, these work together. Sorry, any questions?
No, sir, you can continue.
No.
Okay, so these two products basically work together with Qlikview Desktop. Okay, and they help the entire infrastructure to run from end to end. Okay, mind you, there is no development in server or publisher. Entire development happens in Qlikview Desktop. Okay, so basically what we do is we create layers of data for Qlikview. Okay, so basically what we do from the infrastructure resource, we create what we call a stage or a layer of QVDs. Okay, so a QVD basically is a raw data format, okay, or it's a proprietary data format from QlikTech, which can only be read through Qlikview desktop. Okay, and it basically stores one table at a time. Okay, so there are a few properties of QVD that you must know. It basically stores one table, one logical table at a time. Okay, and it's a proprietary data format from QlikText. It also compresses the data by 90%, depending on your cardinality of the data. It can compress it up to 90%. So suppose you are pulling 1 GB of data from any of your data sources, the resulting QVD, which is a Qlikview data file, short for Qlikview data file, that can be of the size from 100 to 200 MB. Okay, that also makes it portable. All right, and a QVD can be consumed by any Qlikview document. It's not tagged for a particular Qlikview document. Okay, it can be used by any and all of the documents. Okay, now the application or dashboard or document, okay, or a QVW, which is the extension of a dashboard in Qlikview or an application in Qlikview. So when I say application or dashboard or document or a QVW, they all mean the same thing. Okay, so QVW, which is short for Qlikview, is an extension of the application that you create in Qlikview desktop. Okay, so what we do is we create different layers of QVWs, which in turn create different layers of QVDs. Okay, so basically what we can say is we can create a layer 1 QVWs, which will basically pull all the data from your data sources and form QVDs for all those data. Okay, so that will basically what it will do is it will give you raw data, whatever is in your data sources, a raw copy of the data in the form of QVDs. Okay, the reason that we do it or why we do it is to reduce the dependency on your actual data sources. If you needed to refresh your data at, let's say, hourly or maybe twice a day, if you want to, or let's say even weekly, whatever may be the frequency of your refresh of the data, if you connect frequently to the data source, it results in the additional overhead on the data servers. Okay, but if we download all the data in the form of QVDs, your dependency on the data source is removed. Now you can just work with the QVDs because all the data is already there. Okay, so that is one performance enhancement that we do with Qlikview, where we create QVWs which will generate QVDs for us. Okay, so they are called basically QVD generators. Okay, it's not they are not any special documents or they are not any special applications. They basically are the same QVWs. You just write a script to pull the data from the data sources and store it in the form of a QVD. Okay, there is nothing new or there is no other application, no third-party application to create a QVD. Everything is done through Qlikview desktop. Sorry. Okay. Now we have a layer 1 QVD now. We may want to transform the data, perform some business logic on that data and create another level of QVDs. And this can go up to whichever level you want. Okay, it may go to stage or level layer 2, layer 3, whatever you want. Okay, it depends on your basically your scenarios. All right. So what happens is then we have a layer 1 QVW which will generate layer 1 QVDs. We have layer 2 QVWs which will work upon the layer 1 QVDs and generate layer 2 QVDs. Okay, so layer 2 QVWs will work or will consume layer 1 QVDs and generate layer 2 QVDs. Okay, and so on. So you could have layer 3 or layer 4, and similarly they could operate or consume any level of QVDs and generate another set of QVDs. Okay, so these are called as source documents. This is just a categorization. This is just a naming convention. They are not actual, there's no type of documents that we classify them. It's just a category that we use so that we can distinguish between. Okay, so we have a QEW and a QED file structure which we maintain, and we maintain, let's say, level 1 or level 2 QEWs. Okay, the final dashboard that we have, okay, these layer 1 QEDs, the layer 1 QEWs or layer 2 QEWs will not contain your reports. They are meant for only one purpose, which is pulling the data and transforming the data. Okay, the actual dashboard that you will build will contain your business logic, the entire data model, all of the data that you want to pull into the dashboard, all your reports, all your charts and everything. That is a separate document, or you can say a final document which you will create for the user. Okay, that is basically called the user documents, which the user will consume. Okay. Now what happens is, when we have this kind of infrastructure, we cannot do, or we cannot refresh the data manually. Okay, that's where publisher comes into picture. Okay, when we have a publisher, what happens is we can schedule data refreshes or data reloads, as we call it, in the publisher. So what it will do is, it will run the the QEWs. Okay, it will execute the script in the QEWs and refresh your data. Okay, so let's say we have one layer 1 QEW, so we can load it into publisher, schedule a task for it, and run it at a scheduled time. So that what publisher will do is, it will open that Qlikview desktop or Qlikview QEW file. It will run the script, do whatever you have written in the script, and close the document. So that way you can you can refresh your document or your data through the publisher. Okay, you can also do this for the user documents. So the data flow from the layer 1 to the final application will be done by the publisher. It will successively run layer 1, then layer 2, then your final document. If you have layer 3, it will run that, and then the final document. So the entire data flow comes from layer 1 to the final application. So your data is refreshed. So this Qlikview publisher basically will give you your user documents with the updated data. Alright. So this is your Qlikview publisher functionality. Okay. In the front end, there is another product that comes into picture, which is called the Qlikview server. Okay. Now, Qlikview server and Qlikview desktop both have the Qlikview analytical engine. Okay. That analytical engine is responsible for your in-memory associative technology. That implements the in-memory technology, that implements the associative database in memory, and does everything in Qlikview. Okay. So what will happen is, the user documents will be hosted on the Qlikview server. Okay. Now Qlikview server comes with a web server alongside, inbuilt web server. Okay. So basically what will happen is, you will host your applications on the server. Okay. And through a web server, you will go to a portal which is called an access point. Okay. And when you go to the access point, the users will see the dashboards or the user documents. When they will click on it, that document will be opened on the Qlikview server. Okay, so the memory of the Qlikview server will be used. Alright. Only thing that is required on the client side is an internet connection and a web browser. Nothing else. So he will basically be on an interface or constant communication through the server client interface, which is implemented by the Qlikview web server and Qlikview server, and he'll be able to see or view the documents that you have built. He'll be able to navigate through it, he'll be able to make selections on it, he'll be able to download data from it if you have enabled it. Okay, so these kind of things can be done from the client side, but all the operations will be happening on the Qlikview server only. Okay. Any questions? This slide, we should make it a point to understand properly. Any questions you have, please feel free to ask.
Yeah, you said we have got data sources in the infrastructure resource layer.
Yeah.
Yeah, then you said using Qlikview desktop, we are going to create a QVW file, write a script, for example, select star from a table or a file or something like that. And
Correct.
then we are creating and then the output of that QVW file is saved as QVD, yeah, which will be the data for. Okay, so then the dashboard or the report, is it built on QED as source?
Correct, yes. Usually we follow that approach. Usually we do not let the user documents connect to the actual data sources, because our purpose of removing the dependency on the data sources is then lost.
Okay. So, but you said we'll be creating many layers of QEDs, right? So, do you connect multiple layers to the report, or is based on based on user
That
requirements?
depends on the business logic, on the infrastructure. You may want to have one layer only. You may want to have 2 layers or 3 layers, maybe. Depends entirely on the organization structure.
Okay. Another the same, for example, if a dashboard is created on QED layer 2 or 3, then you put that into the publisher, and then you publish it to the server. So through server and HTTPS, users can see and open and run the report and see the dashboard or something. Yeah.
Correct. Yes. Now, when we
Okay.
talk about user documents can. It's not necessary that they operate only on the last stage or the last layer of the QED. They can pick any QED, level 1 QED directly. If you don't need to perform any aggregations or any transformations on the data, okay, the user document can take the data from layer 1 QED as well, layer 2 QED as well, layer 3 QED as well. That is not a
Okay.
restriction. Okay, and when you create a user document, the entire data that you've pulled, be it any layer of QEDs, any amount of data, it's stored with in the user document. Okay, so it's not that when you open a document, at that time the script is run, the data is pulled, and then you see the reports. It's already there. It's already stored with it.
Only.
So when you are viewing the dashboard, everything is already there. Otherwise, what will happen is it will take some time to refresh the data. It will take some time to pull in, build the data model and the reports, populate the reports, and then show you the data. It doesn't happen like that. Everything is stored in the user documents at final, and you open that document to see your reports. Okay?
Okay. Yep. So still when we say QEW file, initially we created to use it to create QED, and as well the Qlikview desktop, which is again QEW, is a user document as well. Either it's a report or a dashboard. Yeah, we use the same one to create everything.
Correct. All kinds of QEWs, whatever be its function, is created in Qlikview desktop only. By far, Qlikview does not differentiate a QEW from another QEW. It is our understanding what the functionality of the QEW is.
Okay. How to use it, yeah? For what purpose we use it, okay.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, fine.
For Qlikview, any QEW is a QEW. It doesn't define or it doesn't differentiate between the two. Similarly, a QED is a QED. It's our understanding that it is a layer 1 QED or a layer 2 QED.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Now, similar to a QED, a QEW also compresses the data. Okay. So, let's say you are pulling 1 GB of data and you stored it in a QED. QED already compressed it to, let's say, 200 MB. When you take it into a QEW and then store that QEW, again it will compress to maybe 150 or 100 MB or maybe 50 MB as well. You can see the amount of compression that happens from 1 GB up to, let's say, 50 MB you can compress. Okay.
Okay.
That's what makes it pretty much portable. Okay. This is a platform overview, just another view from basically the user's standpoint. Okay, the previous one was from the developer or development viewpoint. This is the end user viewpoint. So on the left hand side, we have all our data sources. Okay, then the development happens in the Qlikview desktop. So now there is no enterprise or professional versions. Earlier it used to come like enterprise or professional. Now it's only Qlikview desktop. Okay, though there is a licensed version and a personal version. Okay, a personal version is a fully functional product. There is no restriction to the amount of data that you can pull in, to the type of reports that you can pull in, to the number of documents that you can create. There is no limitation as such. There is only one and only restriction that you cannot open other users' files. Okay, which means that any document which is created on any other machine, you cannot open it on your machine. That's the only restriction. In a licensed version, that restriction is not there. Okay. So the development happens in the Qlikview desktop. Then through Qlikview publisher will publish the file to the user. The distribution and publishing is actually done by the publisher itself. The Qlikview server and the access point, they work together to give the client server interface to the end user. Okay. On the Qlikview access point also, there are a number of ways that you can view your dashboards. Okay. So let's say the user, instead of having a web browser, he had Qlikview licensed version desktop installed. Okay,